Good afternoon, and HUL is set to post its Q2FY21 numbers, one of the biggest FMCG companies. So it will be interesting to see how the performance actually pans out for HUL. Now, quickly taking you through the expectations of ET now. So we are expecting a revenue growth of around 14% this time, and the revenue will stand at around 11,223 crores. While in terms of profit, we are expecting a jump of 15%. The profits will stand at 2,807 crores. Now, in terms of margins, we are expecting only a 20 basis point expansion. So the margins will be at 25% versus 24.8% on a year-on-year basis. Now, let's talk about something very important for FMCG companies. Like I've always mentioned, volume growth is one of the very important figures that, and you keep an eye on during checking an FMCG company. So volume growth, what we're expecting this time is 1 to 2% volume growth. This is excluding GSK. So excluding GSK, we are expecting a 1 to 2% volume growth from the company. Now, in terms of overall, what are the other factors that are impacting the company? In terms of revenue, the revenue is mainly obviously seeing a 14% growth. So what is boosting the revenues when the volume growth is still low? So overall, what is boosting the revenue is the merger with GSK and acquiring the brands Horlicks and Boost. That is what has actually led to the boost of the revenue for HUL, and that is what has actually done well during this COVID period as well, and that is what is supporting HUL's revenue, and that's why we're expecting a 14% growth in revenue. Now, overall, obviously the other portfolios, that is like health, hygiene and nutrition, that accounts to 80% of their portfolio. So that also is expected to continue to do well, and that is also what is supporting the overall improvement in the revenue of the company. Now, personal care segment has improved. Obviously, sequentially we're seeing some growth, but obviously that is still under pressure. So that includes colors, cosmetics, deodorants. That is obviously likely to be under pressure. Even ice creams, now that is also winter season coming. That was the rainy season before this. So not that there was any specific time that once the unlocking started that we could recover. So ice creams also could be under pressure for HUL. Now, in terms of overall the gross margin of the company, that we are expecting them to be under pressure, and that is mainly due to the high tea prices that we have seen during this period. That is what is impacting the gross margins. But when you look at the EBITDA margins, like I mentioned before, we are expecting a 20 basis point increase. So 25% is what our expectation for margins is. Now, what is aiding or supporting these margins, or leading to this slight expansion, is the cost optimizations plus the synergy benefits overall from the takeover, as well as the low ad spends or ad rates, is what is supporting the EBITDA margins of the company. So that is what has held up for the margins, EBITDA margins page, but gross margins will be under pressure. So what is offsetting the high tea prices is the cost optimization, synergy benefits and low ad rates for HUL. Now, other factors that we're going to watch out for, obviously volume growth is something that is important. Other than that, we'll be watching out for the outlook on the pace of rural growth. What is actually do they see in terms of rural growth? How is it growing? Is it continuing to grow at the same pace, or has it reduced? Is something important to watch out for. In terms of the demand, commentary on demand is important, as well as competitive intensity, down trading, raw material costs, how is all the segments panning out is something important to watch out for from HUL.